Welcome back, everybody, to the Gears Pro League Day 3 final series, the match of the week. And what a match it is, Jacob. We're talking Hive. We're talking VQ. Two champions in their own right. Obviously, one much more recent, that being of Hive, winning the mid-split playoffs. And I know they're definitely high up in all of our power rankings. For me, it was number 2. For you, I think it was number 2, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? So they're feeling good. So I think I know where you're going in your predictions, but I mean, seriously, are you still feeling like they're number 2 now that the day is here and they're playing against VQ?
I mean, in terms of predictions, it's kind of hard to really narrow down a 1 through 12. Sometimes I have a 1, sometimes I have a 1B, sometimes I have a 2, sometimes I have a 2B. Right now, I think I have a 1A, 1B, and 1C between United, Hive, and Vanquish. But yeah, this is really going to tell who really is number 1, number 2, or number 3. Maybe things will get shuffled up from here. But right now, you said it. 2 champions in their right mind going at it. This is something you might see at the end of the major if these two teams play their cards right.
Absolutely. And, two of the teammates, right, or I guess I should say respectively, one on each roster, INZEM and Precisions, right? These two guys have just been absolutely incredible. I've had a chance to really, kind of speak to INZEM in general, and he's very passionate. He feels like he's clearly he's very confident, as you should be as a competitor. But Precision is just, I don't know if you saw him last night get that ace in that first matchup, Execution 2.0. I know he's comfortable winning his fights. KDA, though, it's a bit crazy for INZEM, a little bit lower for Precision, but everything else, well, I say everything else, Precision team kills going over to INZEM too. I didn't realize how crazy he actually was, but then again, I didn't realize how many assists Precision actually got. These stats are pretty telling.
Yeah, and it really is. You can see INZEM really leading the charge for Hive. And, rightfully so. They've really stepped it up tenfold, and they're really finding themselves. I'm not going to say that they have as many roles as a lot of the other guys, because they kind of take it and do it all for each other. INZEM's kind of that 1v1 player, and that's where I think a lot of the KDA is kind of boosted up from. So yeah, he's given a lot of opportunities to get the kills, especially post-initial, but if things stalemate and things like that, he's kind of not getting a lot of those deaths. So you got to take the stats for kind of what they are and look at them and figure out how they play into the portion of this matchup. But Precision, man, I saw him early on when he was a part of a few different rosters. He reminds me of like a very young Speedy of some sorts, the way he's really able to take over games, and as consistent as he does take over some of these games. Obviously, not every single match can end up in a victory, but Precision does a good job of doing 110% or more in a lot of these matchups. So when you look at the stats, he's not necessarily going to have the best numbers in every single category, because he fills in and does everything that the team needs him to be.
Fair enough. And sometimes you need that Swiss Army knife, right? Much like Zoom on Oxygen. It's true though, right? You need that kind of like flex player who can just kind of do it all. And those assists are powerful, and VQ knows how to shoot for each other. Let's take a look at our pick and bans. Jacob, break that down. See the maps we're rolling with: Harbor, District, and Training Grounds. So to start off on Harbor, without question, Hive has kind of turned that map into their own. They are such a dominant force there, and it's simply because of that Stern fight. They feel so confident in winning that. You mentioned INZEM being in those big 1v1s. You see the stats that he has. It's tough to win that neutral when you have to battle against him consistently. But for VQ District, honestly, they might as well fill it home. That is just one of the maps that they are so good on. And if you remember during the mid-split playoff in a loser bracket, that was the one where they knocked Elevate out of the tournament in a close round number 8. But then they go into Training Grounds. How do you feel about map number 3?
I think it's going to be one of those maps where a lot of what plays on in the first 2 maps can trickle down into that Training Grounds map, because a District is one that does tend to spread out a little bit more. It does have the opportunity to slow down Harbor, and these initials, it's usually very, very fast paced. So once things slow down just a little bit on District, if it does end up in a 1-1 tie, I think whoever gets the last laugh on a District will have the best opening for map number 1. But I don't think that initial on Training Grounds is going to play the full part. I do think it's going to come down to a few rounds if we do see a map number 3. And that's if, and honestly, I got to agree with that if. I think the possibility of seeing map number 3 is massive. This is one of my hardest matches to predict this season.
Yeah. I know, I absolutely agree. I mean, come on. Again, you have two champions. It's just, and VQ is always one of those teams that you have to take into account and take them very seriously. They may struggle here and there in some series and win against some matches or teams, I should say, you don't expect it to, but I swear to you, they always deliver when they go against these powerhouse teams such as Hive, right? So I expect them to do just as well as I think a lot of people are expecting them to play. Of course, though, predictions wise, right? We got to put ourselves out there and we got to expose ourselves. Really let the fans know what we're feeling. I was already wrong before tonight, and it feels bad. This is my time to catch back up. I feel I'm going with VQ, guys, and the reason why I always vote against VQ, it seems, and every time I do, I'm always proved wrong. This time, I'm standing behind them, so they can't roast me on Twitter. But you know what the thing is, though. The real reason why I went with VQ is because I was watching scrims, I think a little more than a week ago, and I was watching them scrim against Hive, and they were beating Hive. They were doing such a good job. One of the maps was actually District, and they beat them 5-2. That's very telling for me. I think VQ has been on the grind. They've been feeling good, and quite honestly, those scrims were very telling. I think they're going to be able to beat Hive tonight. Jacob, though, are you in agreement with me, or are you going to disagree? What are you going with?
I mean, just judging off what you said, I do got to agree with in some aspects. Right now, Hive has, not Hive, but VQ has definitely been on that grind. I know last split, I didn't necessarily put them as high because they didn't really have, the practice that I was wanting them to have. But now some of these guys, they are streaming their scrims, kind of like you said. I'm getting an extra look at what these guys can do. And even though Vanquish, I do believe they're one of the best teams right now, which is why I put them so high on my rankings list.
Absolutely.
You kind of hit the nail on the head early on. My rankings list is gonna lead into my predictions. I think Hive is definitely going to take this series. I think INZEM is going to have a phenomenal game, but even if he doesn't, I think he has some players that are going to pick up the slack when needed. If I look at those maps, I think Hive has the opportunity to come out strong, build the momentum on their side. So even if they do falter in map number 2, I don't think it's going to mess up their mental game too much. I think they're going to have a fresh restart going into map number 3 if it does so choose. But I think the opportunity, man, for either one of these teams, though, I think we can both be wrong here.
You know, we absolutely could. And chat could be wrong, too. Let's not forget about them. Okay, they're still in the running in the prediction race. Chat, who are you going with? You going Hive or you going VQ? Currently, both teams are undefeated. Who's going to take their first L tonight? Might be me. Hive do it clearly outweighing everybody 2-1. But you know what? I'm fine with that. There was at one point where, E United faced off against Elevate, and Elevate got that win. And I was the only one who went with them that night. And you know what? They got the victory. And again, I'm weighing those scrims very heavily. I understand they're just scrims. Fair enough. Take it for what you will. But for me, I think that's going to give or at least in my mind, puts VQ ahead of Hive here. Even though my power rankings, of course, I put Hive as number 2 as well. So I guess it really doesn't make sense that I'm going with Hive in this case, or VQ in this case. But hey, again, the scrims, that's what I'm weighing it on, and we'll see. But these two, or the first two maps, are going to be very telling. And I mean, quite honestly, whoever opens up and wins, I think more so if VQ can open up and win on Harbor, Hive might be in trouble, Jacob. Do you think that could be the case?
Yeah, especially depending on the fashion in which they do it, because both of these teams have the possibility to, when they catch fire, it's going to be hard for their opposition to really figure out what strategy they need to employ and focus on in order to stop that fire, put out that fire, and really catch it for themselves, because these teams, they have very, very similar play styles. So we talk about that any given Sunday mentality when it comes to predictions. That's why we play these matches out. Whoever is the favorite to lead, you can kind of throw that one out the window, because these guys are going to fight tooth and nail. And I talked about on Hive, there's a possibility if INZEM doesn't perform, anybody can really pick it up. The same could be said about Vanquish. They have really been on the up and up as of late, even though Hive is with E United towards the finals on some E days. I think this is going to be one of those matches where I'm not going to be too upset if I'm wrong, honestly. Yeah, I might yell at you after the show saying, why did you pick them? But, overall, I'm not too mad, because I feel like I'm going to be entertained here today.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great series. One question I do have as we do load into the map, though, Hive has shown that there are times where they might not take the competition as seriously, and sometimes it does hurt them where they lose a couple of rounds they shouldn't, or maybe they lose an entire map they shouldn't. Do you think that's going to be a case here against VQ? Do you think they'll take the competition lightly, or do you think they're coming into this full send ahead?
I really hope, but I also don't think nobody's really taking each other lightly. especially early on in these matches. But early on, VQ loses 2 members. TJ gets taken down, but Sam, somebody's shooting at you on the side, brother. He gets the down over the top, but nice revive, and immediately they realize Hndles is out of position. You expect Solurs to go deep into that pocket to try to get Hndles to move off of that cover. This is where they're slowly but surely going to burst those Lancers to try to get Hndles down, but Hndles doing a good job of staying alive. Honestly, he should not be alive here anymore.
I agree. Hndles definitely. Mike, okay, if he would have picked up TJ, dude, that would have been just absolutely wild. So Hive off to a good start. Precision falls to Acells now. Oh my lord, Hive is looking good. Hive is looking good. But then again, it's one round. We do see these explosive starts come out onto Arbor. Very common. Vital Sam doesn't even have a chance to shoot his gun. Hive is going to take this in the way of domination, and that was a domination.
Yeah, it started off early on, man. They attacked. They got well-placed flashes in towards that wing side, and they got their early eliminations. By the time Vital was done with his exchange, yeah, he got the down, but he was getting shot in the back almost that entire time, so he was unable to capitalize on that down regardless. So good job from Hive, really answering the call, that early battle, and then suffocating the defense. They didn't, even though Hndles did a good job of staying alive, they didn't let him get any bit of positioning. They didn't really let him prolong the round in terms of getting an elimination, getting the cap. So Hive, slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race, but I don't even know if that was slow and steady, to be quite honest with you. That was just pure aggression. Foot the gas pedal down to the floorboard, and you're just not stopping at all. But hey, we need VQ to answer back. This winch fight should, in my opinion, be very competitive. You have so many good slayers, but TJ is just, man, he's unstoppable. I guess in that case, maybe not. Let me stop myself. His precision is just tearing up the competition. Picks up 2 now, 1v1. Vital Sam should understand that Noey's going to be one shot, but doesn't choose to go for the finish. And we're going to be at a good standoff so far. Noey trying to go for the poke. Vital Sam backing up. Now you got Vital Sam who's going to be weak. He's down. And Noey, just go ahead and stagger to deaths, let him bleed out currently. Hive once again winning the fight for the neutral, and it's actually Solurs, and Solurs too, another great 1v1 player that we didn't even talk about.
Yeah, and honestly, he's one of those players that he doesn't get enough of that shine unless we see him on camera making the big play, making those big moments, because a lot of what he does is that dirty work that doesn't necessarily show up on the stat line, that won't show up on the scoreboard. Heck, sometimes it won't even show up on the kill feed, but he does a great job regardless. Great defensive opportunity, but also an offensive chance for Vanquish here. Big downs coming through. Chain revives coming through for Vanquish, and they're going to be the players picking up those eliminations. Noey goes down. TJ just going to be staggered out. INZEM forced to retreat. He's trying to stay alive, play it sneaky, but he gets down up by Hndles from the bottom of the map. So Hndles and the entire Vanquish squad in this round doing a good job, not only listening to each other, but putting the focus where it needs to be. Now they get their opportunity at a triple cap domination. Both of these home hills are already going to be captured, and TJ and the rest of Hive know this one's going to go in way of Vanquish that's tied up 1 round apiece.
So you can kind of see how this is playing out, Jacob. It looks as if the majority of these rounds are going to end in a way of domination. Just how explosive both teams are. When those big team fights take place, they're going to try and commit it all for the domination to triple cap. And so that's just the way it's going to play out. Fair enough. We'll see Bolta, or excuse me, a Talon's going to be down low. So a bit of a switch, bit of a flip here in terms of the overall side weapons, but fair enough. It is what it is. We still have to focus on the winch fight. TJ got taken out early on. Of course, it was INZEM who was able to be the last one standing, and we'll see if it's going to be the same thing here. Solurs, of course, going to be challenged on the other side by Hndles, who has been quite all-purpose and intense, been getting handled himself, which is tough. TJ, though, hits a couple of great shots. Precision dies off. Acells forced back. Noey also wins the fight up top. This is going to be a Hive round, you would have to think.
And you got to give TJ credit there, stopping instead of chasing, land that final shot over the top side, get the elimination. INZEM's going to get the down on 1. Even the capture up to Solurs. Everybody crossfiring. Almost don't want to give up the easy shock and kill, but they're kind of forced to. Big revive coming through. Precision gets the elimination, staying alive, but it's going to be too much. But Noey and INZEM find the necessary kills, find the necessary... Not giving SL an opportunity to get in touch here as Hive. They go up 2-1, and this is kind of a back and forth fight over who gets that initial and presses forward after.
You'd have to think, so yeah, that initial is everything, as it traditionally is for Harbor. But again, for both teams here who are just so so aggressive against each other. If Hive wins the initial, you already know they're pressuring into the home hill. If VQ wins it, obviously they're pressuring into. And the way that that can be alleviated, honestly, for VQ to kind of stop that push, even if they do lose the fight on Winch, is to win the 1v on Doc. Win that 1v against Solurs, take him out, get control of B, and you'll have a much better chance at getting back into the fight. But if you blinked, you missed it. We're heading into the final round of the first half. Jacob, this Winch fight about to be underway once again.
We saw like 6 flashes bouncing back and forth. Latest one going on side of Hive. I would like to see VQ try to take advantage, but they're just trying to hold their ground. This is an easy opportunity for them to get taken advantage of. You see the damage being put out from Noey, forcing these players forward. That makes it easy kills for these players of Hive, holding out their shotgun. Ends up being one of them. TJ getting another one, and Noey didn't even move, continuously putting out that crossfire. Now Solurs, he has to do what he can, almost put down, but he gets the down himself onto Hndles. So here comes the swarm for the rest of the members of Hive. Big down coming through for Precision. Talk about his playmaking ability. That's going to be a big trade.
Yeah, big trade indeed. That was 3 down momentarily. Vital Sound's going to be respawning back in alongside that of Acells. Acells looking to hold Hive at base so far. Again, I got to put a lot of pressure on Hndles. He has to start winning those fights on Bravo, and I am shocked that VQ didn't utilize that Winch position to help him out. The snub fire was there. It really was. A couple more Lancer bullets, Solurs would have dropped off, and we could have been seeing a much different round, but Hive has a very 30-point lead at this point. They're finally retaking B, but I feel like VQ is going to be at a very big disadvantage, again, if Hndles cannot win this 1v versus Solurs, who's just been so instrumental. He's pinned up. Solurs hitting some great shots, and Hndles once again in the 1v.
Talk about Solurs, man. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Talk about Noey coming to save the day. Precision is going to do the exact same thing, trying to keep this fight equal. Excuse me. Precision. Wow, big damage being put across the top. I almost started to think a pistol might have been the difference, but possibly not as well. There goes the cleanup. VQ realizing they lose the bottom half of the map, and this is where they can't give up just yet, but TJ finding a way past. Big laser fire towards the bottom. They choose to push the 3 members. Both of them get taken out for it, and Hive are finding a way to hold on to these 2 hills. They're up 20+ points, and Noey's just staggering the deaths, and he kills that player just in time for him to not get the break. So Hive 2-1. They're looking to go up 3-1 here, barring any miracles on the side of Vanquish.
VQ, yeah, they have one more final push, truthfully, and it's not going to be easy. You can already see them splitting up 2-2. Honestly, I would rather see Vital Sam go with the rest of his team on Winch. Player 3, he's going to challenge anyways, pushing Solurs back, but the big fight obviously is going to happen on Charlie, and the retro is also into the hands of Hive. INZEM's going to be able to put that to use, but albeit so is Hndles. This pushes everything. It's absolutely everything. Player 9 drops, so maybe there is a chance. Solurs is gone. Now you have to continue to push, and you only have very little amount of time. The break might be there. INZEM holds his ground, and I think he adjusted well, and there it is. Hive takes it, and again, VQ just a little bit too sluggish to make that push. Honestly, at this point, you've got to put a power weapon. I mean, I think a power weapon is it. I really do. But again, I mean, it's seriously, it's been Solurs. Solurs for me is just a major difference maker, because Hive is easily getting a 2-1 every time and putting Hive or VQ at a big point disadvantage, because Solurs on that first half won the neutral fight every time.
Yep, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of the time, he either makes a big difference that shows up on the stat line. Sometimes it doesn't, but you wanted a big weapon. Is that where you wanted it, middle of the field?
I'm okay. I mean, I'm okay with it. I really am, because, you know, we've seen how the Winch fight goes and the Stern fight goes. It's a 50-50. You don't want to fight for a 50-50. I like this play because potentially it allows for a big overextension, and you also aren't going to see a 3v3 here, right? At most a 2v2. So for me, I'm okay with it, but for VQ, I feel like they kind of missed the mark. They didn't even try to challenge onto E, and if they don't get away with this M-bar, this is going to be a disaster.
Oh my god, Precision. Oh, that's to say barely living. It's just, what did he get eliminated? I'm looking at Vital right now to pick it up. Floating in the corner. He does get it. This is going to be, even though they trail early, almost a little bit of a blunder. They need to figure out a way to stay alive. Great angle right now from Vital. Trying to catch these players slipping, and it's exactly why they backed up. They must have seen Vital from above. trying to line up that angle so they didn't want to get over aggressive, give up what they fought for towards the top half of the map. So it's going to be tricky here. Vital needs to make sure he's in his correct. Oh, he's going to give it up to Acells. What a smart play. The way Acells has been playing recently, I got to agree with that play. You put it in one of your biggest mainstay superstar players' hands, allow him to make the play.
Getting a pick here is going to be monumental for Acells. He understands this to bring it to a potential 3v2. Give the manage back over to VQ. On the other side, though, you will have Hndles once again going against Solurs. Something to keep your eye out for, because if VQ wins this fight on E, you better believe Solurs is going to be going for the overextension. But this might be good news for. Oh no! That's not what we needed. This is a disaster for VQ once again.
Okay, at least I'm trying to make up for it. That was a big headshot onto TJ. Hey, this is your opportunity. 2 different 1v1s. Yeah, you took some damage early, but Noey playing that to perfection, just backtracking, realizing that man's opportunities are slowly closing along with this round. You see a 200 point is going to be reached by Hive. One more effort going through. Vanquish need to play towards perfection, but INZEM and the rest of Hive are backtracking. This hill is not important to them. Decap comes through, but nobody able to capture the hill. This is where they need to switch up. Hills over hills. If anybody gets eliminated, that's who can go ahead and capture that hill. But Vital up here towards the top half of the map needs to work together with precision to make sure nobody slips by uncontested.
If VQ wins this, they got away with murder. Like, they got away with robbery. Plain and simple. Hive has just been in the driver's seat the entire time. Big push forward, though, and you can already see the minimap and the kill feed. It's all lighting up red. This is going to be it. 4-1 lead for Hive. And man, that's tough. This is not how I expected the match of the week to go. I understood coming into this, and I respected Hive's just dominant performance week in and week out, and historically here on Harbor. But to beat VQ in the way that in the fashion that they're doing it, Jacob, is just, it's not what I wanted to see.
Yeah, even me, even though I did predict Hive to win this match, I thought it was going to be more entertaining. The way Vanquish has been playing lately led me believe we would convincingly see a map number 3. And even though this is Hive's pick, momentum is the thing. We talk about vibes. Hive can easily shrug this one off, but honestly, it's going to take a lot here if they want to come back into this map in particular. So honestly, you got to start thinking ahead what you got to do in order to start chaining together these rounds. When it comes towards your map selection or your weapon selection, it's kind of matched up. You don't have the lock, and I wouldn't use it just yet if I'm Vanquish either.
All right, here we go. Potential final round. This is obviously a big one for Hive. Really an even bigger one for VQ. Precision hits a nice shot on the TJ. He's gone. He's going to be able to 2v1 up top. Well, I say 2v1. It's now brought down to a 1v1 as INZEM is looking to pull off some heroics. Big shots out. Precision trying to take him out. This is the fight for the neutral, and INZEM clutches up. Time in and time out. These Hive boys are showing up and putting outs as VQ just cannot keep up. And it doesn't matter who you throw. Vital Sound maybe, but even so, Noey is right there. It's a lot of ground to cover, however. He's going to dance. Vital Sound does hit it, so maybe there is an answer. Maybe there is hope.
Yeah, I was about to say, that was a great shot from Noey as he was bouncing up the stairs to keep that player red. TJ doing what he can. Back into the corner, trying to get a cheeky down. Not going to be rewarded anything. Actually, left to kill himself is Vital. Actually rewarded that elimination. Acells finds themselves with the hand on the M bar again. 2 hills under their control. They're immediately trying to go up top. They know the rotation's coming through from Hive. It's about, can we beat him there? Can we match him? Noey goes down early. That's not a good look for Hive, as they're now going to have to wait. Allow Vanquish to rank up some of these points. Let their player respawn. Gather the information of where these players are, but they also need to figure out where Acells is with that M bar. Once they gather that information, they're going to make their best decision. I do think it's going to be a retake from the boat slash the ramp, I should say, slash this little hallway here, but have to watch out. Acells, however, scared me for a moment, lining up a shot in the corner.
Lining up a shot in the corner. Acells, we already know, is pretty deadly with it, not only for against Hive, but also his own teammates. But luckily, there's no VQ members in front of him, so there's no chance that he takes any of them out. I say this, I hope I didn't curse it, but we'll find out. Obviously, Hive has to push up that ramp. Do you like his spot, though, down low? Do you think it'd be more beneficial up top?
No, I like a spot down low, or at least play the spikes position, because the players up top, they have to convincingly defend that. And you want the Lancers, you want the shock grenades, the pistol to stop that well-placed shot.
Or the shock, yeah.
To take out both Noey and TJ there for that moment. And this is where INZEM, he's trying to reposition fast enough before these players start to swarm over. But he needs to watch out for that M-bar shots as well. This is where nobody's able to advance over for Hive because of the M-bar being there. Anybody pushing through the middle, anybody pushing up top will land themselves a shot, or at least they need to bounce around and take their time to make sure they don't get shot. So this round should go in favor of Vanquish. They're going to still trail 2-4, but like I said, they're going to have to slowly take everything they have in order to come back into this one.
Everything they have. I mean, literally everything in the kitchen sink. And that's the first bit of hope. But I want to go back to the initial. Remember, INZEM still popping up, picking up 2 players. It was because VitalSam was finally able to shut him down and then had to pull off the heroics to finish off a second Hive member. That's what it took to get the advantage and the lead off the rip. It took those heroics from VQ to just shut INZEM down. So you can really see the effort they're having to apply and put in, and that's obviously just a level of competition. This is interesting for INZEM. Okay, he's going to go ahead and go down low.
It's one of those moments, man.
It truly was. But you know, fair enough. You have to the retro. Honestly, that's huge in my book.
It definitely is, especially every 60 seconds. So if this round goes on long enough, and then maybe that retro doesn't get used by Solurs too much down low, you can easily find yourself with 2 retros. We know how dangerous 1 is, let alone 2, is Precision and Vanquish going for yet another early N-bar pickup. It worked for them last round. So hopefully with the M-bar yet again to start off this round, they can put together themselves in a position to get themselves an early lead, but they gave up top. So the early lead's going to go over to Hive, so they're going to have to figure out how to retake either down low or up top. But I think with that big power weapon in the hands of Acells, 1 big body shot, 1 big headshot can be the opening they need.
Absolutely could be. Oof, almost getting that one onto Noey, but even so, ones you want is up top. That would have been a big connection on INZEM. Unfortunately, doesn't happen. But the big thing is nobody was dropped off from VQ, so there's still 3 strong, and the opportunity to adjust is there. And then adjust they are going to. Looks like they're going to go ahead and try and push for the OE. Hive respects this. Looks as if they're going to go ahead and send some players back themselves. Solurs is going to go and back up, try and stay alive, but Noey should be able to get the pickup. Wait a second. Hndles is there. He gets the finish. Now Noey by himself. He's quickly going to be joined, of course, by his teammates later on, but he's gone, and this adjustment seems to have paid dividends.
Yep. Now I talked about that double opportunity at that retro is going to go over towards VQ. Almost a triple opportunity, even depending on where they run around, if they're trying to get the instant respawn on towards that retro, or if, you know, Hndles wants to spread out the love and give retro to multiple members. But man, Acells with that M-bar, something we were looking for him to do, and now he's going to be able to catch Noey off guard. There goes 2 quick kills for VQ, and you can see the decision being made. They're sitting and staying put. They're ready to stop the defensive push that is going to come through from Hive eventually.
Yeah, and then I think that's the best move that they can make, right? You know, force Hive to make the decision, put them in the opportunity to make mistakes. And if you're a VQ fan, you're hoping they do. But this is looking like a solid push from Hive. VitalSam can't even stay, leaving his teammate behind. He's dead. VitalSam just trying to get away if he can, and he does. Or does he double back? Is this going to be a 5-head move? Well, it could be. Precision is going to take down INZEM. Well done. Good connection. And TJ has to keep his head on a swivel because VitalSam decided to stay. He's finally going to break away. He has to. They need to get the 2-1 back in control, but this is anybody's ball game, and VQ needs this retake. If Hive holds on, they're going to win at 5-2.
You already see the scoreline towards the top. 1 hill will definitely be enough as long as they trade it out. Keeping this one decapped as long as possible. Trading downs, trading kills. It does look like Hive is going to get the last laugh on towards this home hill. Vital needs to push forward, and he can do a lot of damage from across the map, depending on how quick he makes this play happen and gets this elimination, but Acells is going to fall. Nobody left alive on that side of the map, and it does look like Hive is going to close this one out 5-2 over Vanquish.
Wow. I mean, seriously, well done. There was at no point, I mean, maybe rounds 2, round 6. Round 2 was the most dominant win for VQ by far. Round 6, I think they kind of skated by and won that, but by far the most dominant map I have seen, I think, tonight from Hive, or just in general. They played that so well. And again, they're going against VQ, who I expected a lot more from. They won the last major, for goodness sakes. Of course, with Reptilian, but still, though, they're champions in their right, but so is Hive. This was the battle of champions. We knew this, the battle of the undefeated. Someone has to take an L, and right now it's looking like VQ is quickly on their way to doing so. But then again, let's bring it back down to reality, Jacob. That was Hive's map pick. We know how good they are on Harbor, how well they have played historically. So they take that, but District is coming up next, right? And this is the best opportunity for VQ to answer back.
Yeah, and you got to make sure that they attack early on. You kind of saw usually for most of the day, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, the team that's usually aggressive first, setting the tone, setting the pace, usually finds themselves in the driver's seat. Do they win every matchup? No, but you are in control of your own destiny. Yes, and you got to think. I've honestly, most of those occasions, whether it was the Winch, whether it was the Stern, they were aggressive through and through. Even when Vanquish did win that up top portion of the match, it was Hive who overextended down low, got the 2 hills under their control, and forced Vanquish yet again to make a play.
And I just want to shout out Solurs, by the way, winning those 1Vs in the first half. That's what gave Hive the lead that they needed heading into the second half, which you do see VQ kind of answer back here and there. But if it wasn't so lopsided to this, that play kills me. I can't believe we threw that in there, but fair enough. It definitely told the story and it needed to be in there. But, you know, I have to say, just Solurs, again, you know, handling his business against Hndles and literally every single round in the first half, every single round was Solurs winning that neutral. And you ask why that's a big deal. It's a big deal because that gave the 2-to-1 advantage off the rip to Hive every time. And even if they don't win the winch fight convincingly, they're still coming off of respawn and they're still successfully able to hold their own home hill, therefore netting their team a significant point lead, Jacob. And VQ at that point was always fighting with their back against the wall simply because of Solurs winning that neutral. For me, that's the MVP to me.
I mean, that's kind of what happens because early on I said almost the opposite. If a team, you know, in Vanquish's position is just getting dominated up top, it kind of sucks for that player down low. Yeah, it's going to be Hndles in this situation to where they're not, VQ's not winning those fights up top. It's actually going over to Hive. And then he has an extra Lancer looking on him down low. So even though, yeah, I'm getting a lot of credit over towards Solurs winning those exchanges, but it's the core team of Hive putting it together and not giving Hndles an opportunity to even have a fighting battle. Multiple Lancers looking at him. You can't aggressive forward. You can't sit in that same spot, and you can't really run back. Your options are definitely being stripped away from you every single time a player of your team gets taken down up top. And honestly, we've seen Solurs with his back up against the wall in that same scenario. It's about buying the necessary time. Yeah. On District, I've seen Solurs make those same plays more towards the second half. Yes, he goes down low. He tries to overextend, especially if there is a weapon up top in that theater. He's not afraid to leave his team at a disadvantage towards the top half of the map to get the positioning necessary to possibly Lancer players out or even go for a triple cap domination.
Well, here we are, map number 2, an opportunity for VQ to answer back. Honestly, they must answer back. And we've only seen one game 3 tonight. Ended in a 5-1. PK obviously took that series 2-1. I want to see another game 3 between these two. I feel we are still on their way to that performance, despite obviously Hive winning map number 1 in a pretty convincing fashion. Good teamwork, though. Vital Sam, it's going to be tough for him to get out of there, and he won't. He's going to be Nashered out. And Hive's going to take that 2-1. Acells going to try to Lancer out, but it's not going to be enough. He's getting crossed away, I believe, by Acells, if I'm not mistaken. Or excuse me, by that's going to be Solurs keeping his head down. So VQ's kind of spread out. Hive has the forces with them, and the man advantage in these engagements, they'll back off, but that's something that's going to be a trend, I feel, round in and round out, Jacob, is Hive wolfpacking together, whereas VQ playing more as individuals.
You're starting to see right now, it does look like VQ is sending multiple members down low because they need to get control of the middle portions of this matchup because it opens up options. And as they're down roughly 30+ points in counting, VQ has to make a move sooner rather than later. Otherwise, it's going to be only one opportunity to get this break. And you put the members in towards the middle because you can push up top, you can push down low, you keep the other team guessing. You can see multiple members of Hive. They're turtling back little by little, giving up this position for free. So now that when VQ does attack, they can use their utilities for this neutral positioning. And this is when they attack the juice. Precision's going to hop over, try to get a decap all at the same time.
Well, there's definitely a lot of moving pieces currently. Hndles great elimination. Acells though falls. Solurs now looking to clutch up. Noey's there. The teamwork once again. You take one Hive member down. There's 2 more to replace him, but now it's a 1v1. What are you going to be made of, Noey, at this point? Vital Sam, well, no competition. Takes him out. Precision also falls right before TJ's eyes. And Hive is well on their way to leading now 1-0. They're playing unreal.
See, I know it was just a mini map I was looking at, but whatever TJ did there to prevent Precision from hopping over that cover was exactly what Hive needed, because nobody from the Juice was able to give TJ help. So that could have been an easy decap coming through. He gets it down on Precision, somehow got it down elsewhere on the map on Acells. He's like MasterCard everywhere you want to be.
All right. You're get out of here. You're ridiculous at this point. I've never heard that one before, but you know what? I as a 29-year-old boomer, I appreciate that. That was actually pretty good. All right, fair enough. Leading 1-0 is going to be Hive, and I went with VQ, but I think at this point, just kind of banking on the credit card thing, I want a refund because I'm just not getting the competitiveness from VQ that I was expecting.
I want to pull out another one, but I feel like I'm too old. You might have you seen Seinfeld? Tell me you've seen Seinfeld.
You know what? It definitely was in my wheelhouse, but no, I didn't watch it.
I don't want to say the full name of the guy, but the soup guy, he's like, no soup for you. And that's exactly what Hive did to VQ in there. No hill for you, Precision. Come back 1 year.
Let me mute myself, man. You got me coughing and choking over here. Just call the initial, Jacob.
I know I'm making too many jokes, but what's not a joke is that N bar going down and INZEM getting first blooded, but it's getting traded away. Precision got the necessary position over towards that N bar, but the kills are not going their way. Noey goes down. Vital left between by himself. 1 kill shot goes over the top, and TJ once again with an unlimited spending limit, just taking it to Vanquish right now.
Absolutely taking it to Vanquish, and TJ needs to stay up here. Big moves from, oh no, don't do it to him. Well, the trade's there. I think it's on the ground. Oh no! Hndles, good elimination on INZEM and TJ. Now, what do they do with this? Do they continue to push forward? Well, Solurs is, Solurs is playing so well. He is the reason why I am not going to be correct in my prediction. I swear to you, he is the reason, solely him, shutting down Hive. He's just playing so well. He's literally perfect.
Think he has the hood on right now?
Oh, 100%.
You think he's playing with the hood on right
Ryan's
now?
Ryan's going to tweet it.
Hood on, but Solurs goes down. We're giving him too much hype. We're cursing him. Now Hive has to fight for their life. Noey goes down as well. So Vanquish, from the beginning portions of that match, they were able to prolong that initial. So even though it did look like for a moment that Hive was able to go in, try to get that weapon and use it against them, you saw 3 players off of that using a double initial, pistoling that player down, while one of the teammates, only one player really moved in to get that kill blow. They had a little bit of reinforcement. That was big. A big double initial answer back from Vanquish to tie this one up at 1 round apiece, but it came from that M-bar going down. They want that big fight. They thrive in the chaos. I gotta think Hive thrives in one way or another, but I think that throughout the years, they balanced out their gameplay.
You really have, man. Look at this. So we're tied up 1-1. The M-bar obviously made a big difference for VQ, but it was still a pretty messy initial without question, and it came down to finishing off the last 2 members of Hive. Let's see how this goes once again. Looks like VQ is going to be the first ones to truly poke in, but INZEM's going to be stunned, trying to get that shot. Acells relatively weak. TJ's down. Hold up a second. INZEM clutches up and gets that team pickup. Well done from INZEM.
Gotta at least die trying to get the kill. INZEM, he was that player to watch, rightfully so. You see the type of plays he makes for the team, allows TJ to overextend, quick down coming through, quick kills, and already at the bottom half of the map, 2 players are spawning up. You see Noey and Solurs attacking. They don't want to give up any inches. They don't want to allow them an opportunity to breathe. INZEM gets another one. Noey pushes through, solidifies another elimination on the Precision. Hive taking it to Vanquish in this match from the start of the initial to this very point. Aggression all the way to close out that round.
And INZEM, obviously, give him credit. I mean, he played that so well. Picking TJ up, finishing off 2 players of VQ. It was looking as if VQ might walk away with that M-bar, but ultimately INZEM just flips the script and ultimately ends in the way of domination. Now going into the last round of the first half, another fast just first half, man. Just like on Harbor, these rounds are so aggressively fast, and again, it's a testament to the play style of both rosters. They just don't know when to back off, and rightly so. They don't need to, because when they get that fast initial and that fast start, they know how to close it out. And that's the scary thing about both of them, and that's the scary thing about having an M-bar on the map. When they clash and they go head to head, I mean, truthfully, it is all or nothing.
It definitely is, but I don't think that retro is going to be picked up off the initial. They're just using that to get, obviously, after the initial and then possibly a shock grenade after after that, after this round is over. Flash is going out, though. Nobody really able to take control over that M-bar just yet, but it's going to be Hive that get the necessary eliminations. INZEM did go down, though, so it's not all for nothing. Precision finds himself in such a bad spot. Luckily for Hndles and the rest of VQ, he did win that exchange, so it's not going to be a triple cap domination around the map just yet as he's trying to buy enough time. Man, that M-bar winding up scared him for a moment, and this is where we're going to see a switch up of the weapons. Solurs with the M-bar. Do you like to see that? Do you like to see Hoodie Solurs with the M-bar?
He can do no wrong. I'm telling you, this guy is just nasty. He really is so good. And Blaze is always praising him without question, and I see why now. You know, I've always felt he was just a solid player, especially when he plays against E United. You know, in that 1v spot against Kenny, like he handles his business. He does so well, and he truly is a good, I think, comparison, or at least a good challenge to the E United boys. He hits a couple of body shots, not enough to finish off VQ, and unfortunately his teammate to the left is going to bleed out, but this is a big opportunity. Nice body shot. He's going to go in and back off. Goes in for the second again, another body shot. And Precision's down. This is going to bring it to a 1v1. He's got to get this finish. This is going to be huge.
There is no way. This man almost effortlessly blind firing these shots out. Quick pop shots. But Solurs, man, that little bit of retro from Acells really did him in. He gets taken out. No Hill being decapped. But here goes an audible coming out from the rest of Hive. They acted like they were going to try to attack that juice, try to stretch out the numbers. Force players back and immediately turn onto this neutral. Acells gets taken out, and this Hill will change hands. Triple cap domination sounding off for a moment. A few players trying to get that touch onto the Hill, but nobody. Actually, no, he actually gets the touch. That was in a fraction of a second difference. Precision keeping this one going.
And you know what? That loss right there for VQ would have hurt. That would have hurt a lot. And luckily they stay in it, but they're surviving, not thriving. They got a lot of work still ahead of them. And I'm looking at INZEM, the final boss as he's been, quite honestly. And he's going to look to challenge on a couple of players just up ahead. That's one. Can he get a second? Easy. I mean, honestly, easy at this point. TJ helping him out. Hive retakes control.
And Gifted a miracle, immediately throw it out the window by getting too aggressive. Not as a team. Precision doing what he can, overextending, but he not only needs to win the Insane, get to decap, but he needs to keep going to B. He's not even gonna have an opportunity to capture this hill. Almost gets the chunk onto Noey, but TJ yet again. I told you about that, man. I already told you, right?
You definitely did. I think multiple times at this point, and rightly so. You got to keep praising his name. M-bar is on the ground, but it's not going to make a difference. Hive is going to take it, and INZEM is really feeling it. I mean, INZEM, and you know what? Again, I go back to that interview I had with him in phase 1. He's a confident player, and when he starts showing love like that, it's just a scary thing. 3-1 lead for Hive. I'm dumbfounded. I mean, seriously, Hive is playing that well. Yeah, I'm never betting against him again. I'm truly not.
Just on fire. You see, you say that you're not gonna bet against him, but somehow Hive's gonna lose the match. That's what happened to me all last phase, and heck, even the one before that. So honestly, whatever you're doing now, just don't.
I can't wait, Jacob.
Don't let these teams affect your predictions,
Jacob,
unless they obviously lose.
Listen, man, I started in first place. I'm going down. Well, Blaze is going to be in last place. That's without question, okay? But he's going to quickly pass me up. He's going to quickly pass. This is the thing, man. That's why I talked so much smack at the beginning when I was in first, because I already knew the downfall was coming. I had my week at the top. Now it's all downhill from here.
I'm ready to post again. If you had me in the first half, I'm not going to lie. Sniper versus M-bar. This is going to switch things up. And honestly, you see the up... That was big. I was going to say that was a 2v1 opportunity from Hive at the top side of the map. And because of that headshot, Precision was not only able to win that fight, but get the M-bar as well. So both big power weapons on the map are now in the hands of Vanquish.
Yep, absolutely in the hands of VQ. And again, they don't let go of the gas pedal. They don't know where the break is, okay? They're just going to continue to go and try to get this domination, and rightly so. They have all the advantage in the world. Solurs trying to pull off some heroics. Not going to happen. INZEM shut down Noey. Last one, he's gone. And VQ brings it 3-2. So very nice, 45 seconds. And you know what? Splitting that map was a smart, educated decision. When you lose 2 rounds in a row, when the M-bar is placed, you placed a long shot, now you're split across the map. That is the move to make. That's thinking with your head.
Yep, I feel like that's because when you have that up top fight where the M-bar is at, you throw a lot of the strategy out of the window because you kind of have to throw smokes, throw flashes, get in there, try to get the positioning. Otherwise, you're basically giving up a free M-bar and possibly an escape with it. So you throw that sniper down low because it's not as clustered as it wants to be, which means you can kind of keep your eyes on a lot of the targets. Not as much utility going off, possibly no smokes at all. So I like the split up of the fight from Vanquish, and then it allows your individuals who might be on fire, maybe not the full team, to use their strengths a little bit more. Not again. Don't do it again.
He's doing it.
Okay, this time it's INZEM though.
Well, this time it's INZEM, not Acells. Yeah. You know, and I'm really screaming, please don't do it like this. Solurs. Solurs 1v2. Yep, gone. Precision, nice job. That was a bit anti-dramatic, and the push for E obviously isn't going to take place. Well, maybe not. Hold up a second. Precision might rotate around. VQ has an interesting position with the 2-to-1, and yeah, they are going to pressure in onto E. They could. I think they're going to do it. The domination's coming through. Player 3 is not even moving. Finally, he is, but I think he knows it's over. Not just yet.
I'm about to say, he has to figure out a way to stay alive, but there's too much Lancer fire, too much damage going off. Shock Grenade's gonna go ahead and stun Solurs at the tail end of his jump, and there it goes, Vanquish. With that switch up, putting that sniper down low, they chain together 2 rounds to tie it up 3 apiece, and this is a must-win for Vanquish. They trail 1-0 in this series, so they need to force that tiebreaker map, and so far, in the second half, they're propelling themselves. There's nice strategies, nice rotations coming through, and they're also winning the fights they should be winning.
Yeah, definitely so. 3-3. Let's go. Okay. You know, honestly, again, I say it over and over again. I don't care who wins. I just want to see a competitive series. And right now, we are getting that competitive series. I love, once again, the long shot being in bandstand. I firmly believe if that's not placed, they continue to build the weapon trees per usual. Hive has their way with VQ. This map could have already been over with. But because of the smart thinking from VQ splitting up that map, they're making the fights a little bit different. Therefore, it should be, or at least as of right now, it is benefiting them. Acells, though, we know, he's gone. Noey, great connection with the Incense. And, well, at this point in time, Hive's going to take the 2-to-1. They've got TJ with the long shot. The M-bar, though, in nobody's hands, and it might go to Hive if Precision can't hold on here. Good dancing, but it's not going to amount to anything.
I thought they were going to bleed him out for a moment, but doesn't want to let anybody sneak through. No quick revives, especially if you know you're going to rotate off of that position. You can already see players trying to set up towards the low side, towards the high side, all the power weapons. And you can already see they're oh my God, nice headshot coming out from TJ, but they're stacking their numbers out down low and in the juice, because if they're going to attack Solurs at the top half of the map, they have to go through the entire open. Solurs is going to have opportunity after opportunity to rail M-bar after M-bar to try to get these players down. So Hive, they're setting up knowing, or at least thinking, that that neutral is what the target is for Vanquish. Ooh, another headshot. Damn, y'all need to stop.
You know, after last night, I know 2 totally different teams, but watching Powers just get that headshot on Raver was just, it was beautiful, man. And I'm curious to see if we'll see another moment like that. TJ definitely popping some heads, and you can see the impact it's had, right, with Hive. Just such a good lead. Oh my goodness, TJ takes it down. Precision, surely not you. Can you put up a better fight? I don't know. TJ's on fire at this point. He will get the down. Well done from TJ. That should but solidify this round for Hive. This is almost the final. Well, that's a good win from Hndles, but I mean, there's just so much to be done. VQ's going to have to sneak this round for sure.
I don't know the possibility of that happening, because they're just getting their death staggered right now. They can get the decap onto this neutral, but they need to be careful not to take too much damage. This is a kills over hills scenario, so hopefully they're not going to waste any time capping it. Big down coming through on Acells. Luckily for Vital, he does get the revive off. They have about 15 seconds to push through. And up top, on the top half of the map, INZEM gets it down. So this is all them at the bottom half of the map. If they don't break through, this could be over. There goes one big elimination for Acells. Only a few seconds left. Not going to be able to press forward. And Hive are now on map point. They're one step away on series point of closing out our day with a victory.
Map point, series point. Scary place to be if you are the opposing team. In this case, obviously, VQ, the Disabled surely are coming out. And but I mean, really, that's going to be up to the boys on Hive if they want to save it for round 9, or do they want to go ahead and get it out of the way. And truthfully, the Botok, huh? Okay, so the shock, I was about to say, that's kind of a wild throw, but for VQ, they're going to save it. They're going to go ahead and upgrade, get the retro. Fair enough. They have the disable for the last round if we go to round 9. So this is a big round for VQ. They could have a tremendous advantage heading into round 9 if they can just survive long enough to get there.
And what's interesting about that lock going down on the shot grenade, obviously it helped us in the mid portions, but I'm not sure how much they were actually using it on the initial, but you see the switch up of strategy coming out from Hive, letting Solurs play that side of the map by themselves, giving up the Enmar and going for this early point capture, but VQ is doing a good job of keeping these players off of the hill, but this is where they catch Vital by himself. He's certainly going to be a target, but one down going already in the middle. Vital trying to attack. He gets out INZEM. That's going to be the sniper out of play too, and he gets a player to waste those instants. Even though his teammate did die, he's going to get a kill towards the back end, an opportunity to get this capture, to get the hills into their control.
All right, well done from VQ again. That much closer to maybe sending it to round 9. TJ connecting, but Precision connecting even more, taking him out. Now it's going to be a 1v versus Solurs, who clutches up. Well done. Still, though, more work to be had as VQ is going to be slowly collapsing in, closing that vice grip. He's gone. It's so hard to live in your opponent's home hill because you just know constant reinforcements are going to be coming through. And in this case, obviously, VQ had the advantage. They've got a minor lead, truthfully, a very minor lead. But I think the big thing is the power weapons are out of play. And the shock really shouldn't make a big difference as of now. With VQ not having it, I honestly think that's not going to affect them too much. It's all about now just lancering out, playing as a team, wolfpacking, and just shutting down these retake attempts that Hive is going to be doing.
And I know TJ doesn't know this, but TJ has a utility advantage over Vital right now. So TJ could take this fight, get an upper hand. Even if he does get crossed by Precision in that juice, that's giving his teammate an advantage. I talk about that utility advantage. That's exactly what he used to win that fight against Vital. That's going to be a big win for TJ because now the triple cap domination is sounding off. Somebody is going to get in the hill for Vanquish to prolong the round. That's going to be Hndles immediately downed out for it, but it's going to be a trade and down. INZEM goes down, but the revive is there from Solurs. Triple cap domination one more time. Acells 1v3 on the other side of the map. It's Vital that has to go big. He doesn't touch the hill, and Hive will close out the map and the series 5-3, 2-0.
Wow, well done. I mean, seriously, hats off the Hive. You know, I came into this really basing my pick right on scrims, and I should have been looking at the performance of Hive when it mattered most, of course, during Pro League mid-split playoffs. And I mean, just incredible, truly incredible. Shout out to Solurs. Truthfully, for me, the MVP, I think multiple times clutching up, making some big moves. INZEM, though, of course, a close second. I mean, he was just playing on God mode, Jacob. The moves he was making, the two pieces he was able to get, it just honestly just incredible. Truthfully, it was, especially on Harbor up top. Like, he was just unstoppable.
And you see a lot of these occasions too. TJ was doing a good job of getting those mismatches. You talk about the 2v1s, opportunities there at the very end. I said it. I don't know if he knew Vital didn't have that utility. Maybe he spotted Vital using it a long time ago, but that was the mismatch. And not only did he attack that mismatch, get the kill on Vital, he did exactly what I thought. He got Precision to look over the top of Juice, which kind of gave another man advantage to the bottom half of the field. And Hive, man, they did not skip a beat. They didn't miss a play. They were working together the entire time. As much as I want to give one of these guys MVP along with you, it's so hard to, because there's so much that just doesn't show up on the stat line that a lot of these guys were just taking part of. Those little Lancer fires, the little bit of a cross, that it really does make a difference. So I'll leave that up to you, man.
I'm saying, all I'm saying is this, okay? Day 2 still needs to happen, or at least day 2 for this week. It'd technically be day 4 of Gears Pro League. But with that being said, I'm absolutely right now putting Solurs as MVP for the week. That's going to be my pick without question. Unless he drops the ball tomorrow, I don't know. Of course, still a week, but again, for me, I have to go with Solurs. I mean, he just, like you mentioned, he had the hoodie on, brother.
Yeah, get it on. Look at these type of plays from Precision. And this is where I wanted to see more of those aggressive plays come out from VQ. I just think they didn't have necessarily the best start, and then they weren't able to find themselves. Partially, because you can blame themselves a little bit, but you got to give it up to Hive. The amount of pressure they were able to put on round after round, map after map, and really suffocate out Vanquish, not really to gain any momentum. You saw them staggering out Des, putting a big stop defensively. And like I said, in the fashion in which you win some of these rounds, you win some of these maps, you start to mentally demoralize your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what ended up happening. Man, you know, seriously, I'm demoralized. I truthfully am. It just was not a good day for me, man. It really was. And you know what? Me and Blaze were pretty much we were neck and neck, bro. We had the same picks going. It. Jeez, I hate you. You know what? This is one of the benefits of not being in the studio, Jacob, is you can throw up all the thumbs up you want. If you're sitting next to me, I'm throwing a punch, man. On camera, I'm knocking you off your seat.
That would have been the closing.
Visa,
see you guys next week as you toss me into the camera. But it's all right. That's why I love on that. I can celebrate. I think this might have been my first 4-0 week.
4-0. You're right. You did go 4. Well done.
4-0. That's what's a thumbs up for me, man. It's hard.
Well done.
You guys as players do a good job of making it entertaining, but making it very stressful for us casters as well. And even probably some of these people that go out in the chat that put their channel points on the line time and time again. Hopefully one day, maybe down the line for a major championship, maybe UMG, Astro, TC could work together. Channel point prizes from those predictions. Obviously, you can set them high. You guys have your chance to rack up. I'm just throwing out ideas out there for you guys because some of these guys, they're gambling addicts. They need it.